My husband has been visiting an orphanage every Saturday for 6 years. I followed him and found an abandoned building with my pictures on the wall. It started 2 months after our wedding. My husband, Chalo, told me he had made a vow to God to serve the motherless. He said every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., he would go to an orphanage on the outskirts of the city to teach the children mathematics. I thought I had married an angel. I even bragged about him to my friends. Chalo is a saint, I would say. He dedicates his weekends to the poor. But as the years passed, things became strange. He never allowed me to go with him. Anytime I suggested we go together to donate clothes or food, he would get angry. It is my personal covenant with God. He would shout, "Don't interfere with my blessings." I let it go, but the doubt started growing like a weed in my heart. Why was he so secretive? Why did he always come back smelling of burnt candles and old earth instead of sweat and chalk? Last Saturday, I couldn't take it anymore. Chalo left the house at exactly 1:30 p.m., wearing his usual white trad. As soon as his car turned the corner, I called an Uber and told the driver to follow him from a distance. We drove for over an hour, passing the busy market, passing the city center, until the road became rough and dusty. We ended up in an area I didn't even know existed. Bush is surrounded everywhere. Chalo parked his car in front of a building that looked like it had been burnt down years ago. There was no roof in some parts. The windows were broken. There was no signboard, no sound of children playing. "Madam, are you sure someone live here?" the Uber driver asked, looking scared. I paid him and told him to wait. My heart was beating so fast I could hear it in my ears. I watched Chalo unlock the rusted iron gate and walk inside. I waited for 10 minutes, then I removed my shoes so I wouldn't make noise. I crept toward the building. The place was silent, deadly silent. I peeked through one of the broken windows. What I saw made my blood turn to ice. There were no children. There were no desks. There was no teacher. It was a large, empty room with a concrete floor. But in the center of the room, there was a circle drawn with white chalk. And inside the circle sat a wooden doll. The doll was wearing a piece of fabric that looked familiar. I looked closer and gasped. It was cut from my wedding gown, the one I couldn't find 3 years ago. But that wasn't the worst part. On the walls, everywhere I looked were pictures of me. Pictures of me sleeping. Pictures of me eating. Pictures of me walking to work. Hundreds of them. But in every single picture, my eyes had been scratched out with a red marker. I covered my mouth to stop the scream rising in my throat. Chalo was kneeling in front of the doll, holding a live chicken. He was whispering something, rocking back and forth. His voice was not the gentle voice I knew. It was deep, guttural, and aggressive. 6 years I have served you, he chanted. I have fed the image. I have blinded her sight. Tomorrow is the date. Tomorrow I take the soul. My knees buckled. He wasn't helping orphans. He was preparing something dangerous. And I was the target. I wanted to run, but my legs were heavy, like lead. Then he stopped chanting. He slowly turned his head toward the window where I was hiding. He didn't look surprised. He smiled. A wicked, cold smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Welcome, my love," he whispered loud enough for me to hear. "You came just in time for the final ceremony." I turned and ran. I ran through the bush, scratching my skin, not looking back until I found the main road. Now I am locked in a hotel room in town. I have turned off my phone because he has called me 47 times in the last hour. But just now, the hotel room phone rang. I didn't pick it, but the message light is blinking. I don't know how he found me. I don't know what will happen when the sun rises tomorrow. Please, if anyone sees this, what do I do?